Hello everyone, my name is Okpe Oluwa Oni, your real estate cash flow king. So today I'm going to be talking about land banking. Of course, a lot of people have asked questions about land banking. So I'll be touching an aspect that I feel that is very, very important. So the question is, how can I make a quick cash from land banking? How can I make a quick cash from land banking? So let me just answer you straight up and end this video. You cannot make a quick cash from land banking. Yes, you can't. You can't make a quick cash from land banking. I always recommend, if you are doing land banking, minimum 15 years. In fact, for some location, 10 years, but just put your mind to 15 years. If you are going to make anything meaningful from land banking. You might be, 50 years is too long, blah, blah. Okay, no problem. We are talking about an opportunity for you to 10x, 20x, 30 years X, 50x your investment. Maybe you don't understand. I'm talking about 10-fold, 15-fold, 20-fold. We are not talking about 15% though. I mean, you can literally invest ₦1 million in land banking, and in 10 years time, it will be 10 million naira. It could be 15 million naira, it could be 30 million naira, it could be 100 million naira. That is the power of land banking. And you said you can't wait for 15 years? Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about critical things that you need to take care of when you are going into land banking, among many other things. Of course, there are 1001 things that you can dot your I's, cross your T's, and all of those things. But there are 5 things I'll be sharing with you that you need to know. You need to pay attention to these 5 things, and they are just fundamentals and basics that I believe that taking care of them will allow you to win with land banking. I've seen property goes from as low as 50,000 naira to as high as 5 million naira. So I think I can tell you and teach you 1 or 2 things about land banking. So, but before we go deep into that, what I want you to do is to like, share, whatever platform you are watching this video, go like, share, subscribe. So follow me as we go into what we have for us today. So when you are going into land banking, location has been said that, location. Yes, location is very, very important. Location is very, very important. However, there are factors that make location to be important, and I'm going to show you today. So number 1 thing you need to pay attention to is that research your location. Research your what? Your location. So there's something called the arteries to city development. Let's take for instance now Ikeja. So if you are looking at Ikeja, there are locations that makes Ikeja. However, anybody that wants to buy a property in Ikeja, for instance now, will probably need maybe 50 million, 100 million, 200 million, 300 million to buy even a piece of land. But there are locations that are within 1 hour, 45 minutes, 2 hours drive to Ikeja that you can still buy for as little as ₦1 million per plot. So when you want to determine your location, you need to research that location. Of course, there are steps you need to look at. I won't be going to all those details. If you need help in that area, I will guide you. But there are things, I've just given you a clue to determine. So arteries to city development, where you should go and do land banking, you need to look at a critical location, a city center, and anywhere that is 1 hour, 2 hours, 45 minutes drive from that city center, they are also a potential city. You don't want to miss that point. Let me repeat. Anywhere that is within 1 hour or 2 to a current city center are also a potential city center. Anywhere that within 1 hour or 2 hours to a current city center are also a potential city. So basically, what do we do in land banking? We position ourselves. We buy and wait. So that is very, very important. So you of course, look at Ikeja, for instance. I mean, typically Ikeja. Look at where is 30 minutes to Ikeja. And let's look at where are, those cities that are 30 minutes to Ikeja 10, 15 years ago. Places like Arepo. Arepo is less than 30 minutes to Alausa in Ikeja. Places like Magboro. Places like, mention quite a number of them. Look at those locations. 10, 15 years ago, most of these locations are not even habitable. They are jungles. But look at it today. Because Ikeja is a city center. So also, Lekki Phase 1 is a city center. Ajah is a city center. GRA Port Harcourt is a city center. Lugbe is a city center. So look at all these locations. Uyo is a city center. Kano City is a city center. So where are those land that are still cheap, that are within 30, 45, 1 hour to 2 hours to that city center? Those places are potential cities. And I believe me, I always tell people, the reason why I have to even have 2 hours is that, see, there are places that are 2 hours to city center. Buy them and wait. So you don't say, I don't have 1 million. Do you have 50,000 naira? I'm very sure there are places that are 2 hours to city center that you can still buy for even 50,000 naira. Even if it's half a plot, buy them, protect them, and wait. So you need to research that location. So these are the elements that will help you to do your research and ask the relevant questions. What are the infrastructures that are coming to this city center? What are government plans? Because these are some of the things that fast track those developments. Look at Ekpe, a major road in Ekpe, just open up Ekpe, boom. And everybody's talking about Ekpe today. A lot of people forgot that Ekpe at some point in time did not have power supply for almost a year. Nobody wants to go to Ekpe. So, but now, infrastructure. So what are the potential infrastructure that are coming to those areas? You need to research them. And that is very, very important. So research your location. That is one critical element that you don't want to miss. Don't let anybody bamboozle you. Do your own assignment. Do your own, and you can do, of course, internet can help you to do that research from anywhere that you are. So that is number one. Let's look at number two. Number two, acquire. Acquire as many as you can. Acquire as many as you can. However, you must buy right. Of course, I have a video, 12 mistakes that you need to avoid when you want to buy any piece of property or land and all of those things. So, talking about land banking, acquire as many as you can. I've had stories, so many stories. And I will have bought 2 plots, I will have bought 3 plots, I will have bought 4, and I have that money, but I didn't know that that place was going to develop. So that you will not tell that story. Acquire as many as possible. And I'm going to explain something. There's difference between a plot of land and a piece of land. In fact, a plot of land is basically a measured space. So we usually say something is 60 by 120. 60 feet by 120 feet. 60 feet by 120 feet, right? But that's a plot of land. But not knowing that also a plot of land can be 50 feet by 100. A plot of land can also, and this is 648 square meter. This is 450 square meter. And also a plot of land can be 35, for instance, by 50. It's still a plot of land. So don't have this mentality that, if it's not up to a plot, if it's not this, all you need is a piece of land. That is the reason why you have not started this real estate journey. Imagine that you bought that half plot 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 30 years ago. Do you know the value of that half plot right now? In fact, there are places that are fully developed that all they are selling is even a quarter plot. They call it pieces land. I know some of you have experienced such before. So acquire. Don't ever, never be in a situation you heard that there's an opportunity somewhere and you do not acquire. No matter how small, please acquire. Even if it's a quarter plot, acquire. So let's go to number 3. So number 3, of course, you research the location, you've acquired the property. The next thing is to secure the property. You are playing the long-term game here, right? You're not going to be sleeping there. You won't be sleeping on that same land. It's not, I mean, it's practically almost impossible for you to be sleeping there. And you know, the thing about land is this: you don't buy land off the shelf and pick it and put it in your pocket or put it in your bag and take it home. No. All we have when it comes to land is our bundles of rights, documentation, and all of those things. So the way legally that you can secure your land apart from documentation is the fact that you erect a physical structure. And always encourage people, see, no matter how little it is, don't just buy a property and just forget about it. Fence your property round. There are two things fence will help you to do. Number one is that no matter how much you research a property, when you are fencing, that's when you know the true situation or true status. It's unfortunate, but that is the situation of things in Nigeria. So fence it round. You might be lucky, you might be fortunate. During fencing, no disturbance, and you put a gate. You've been able to secure it. You've been able to secure it. But at that point in time, you know any land you are fencing, you will be able to know if there are other vested interests in that same land. And that is very, very important. You don't want to acquire any property somewhere and 10, 15 years, you are coming back. I mean, haven't you heard stories? People go back to their land in 15 years' time and they are just seeing foundation on it. Okay? So you need to secure that property. That is very, very important. And another thing that we need to pay attention to is this. Most of the time, say, no, the cost of fencing is very, very expensive and all of those things. You don't need to fence out everything at once. Why don't you do it in phases? I mean, it's just smart, man. It's just smart. Just smart. Number one, dig all the trenches round. Dig it out. Then after digging it out, what is the next thing you do? You start your fencing in phases. You can do 2 courses round first, if that's what you can afford rather. The next thing is this: do another 2 courses. You've done 4 courses. Do another 2 courses. You've done 6 courses. Do another 2 courses. You've done 8 courses, and the land is secure. You can do your gate house too. Your gate in phases. If it's gate house, if it's a massive land, you can do a gate house. You can do a gate house. So you don't play with securing your land. Fencing is one of the most important way of securing your land. You can also engage the community. Tell them, I'm the owner of this land, though. Know the bale, know the elders, know the people. Community. Of course, most of this land where we are doing land banking, there are always farms around. The farm, probably the poultry farm, recreation centers, or whatever is in that area, they have security. Talk to them. And if you can afford one, put a gate house there and engage a security person. If you are buying 10, 15, 30, 20, 30 acres, it's not too small. How much will you pay security in the next 10, 15 years compared to how much value is inherent in that place? It is very, very important. And other ways people do securing it is instead of block work, sometimes some of them do barbed wire and all of those things. Just do your research and see how you can secure it. So let's look at next. Number 4. So you've done number 1, you've done number 2, you've done number 3, number 4. For me, this is the most important thing. Yes, documentation is important, securing it is important. But why should you have a property that is idle in a place like Nigeria? So, cash flow. Somebody say cash flow. Cash flow is very, very important. Cash flow is king. No matter how remote that property is, there is something that you can still be doing that will be giving you cash flow. Yes, there's something. You can rent it out. In fact, I did a video, 12 things you can do with empty land. 12 things you can do with empty land. So look at that video. You get ideas from it. Rent it out. And a lot of people don't know where you are on a presence. You are renting a place out, or there's a presence on the land. Let me use that word. There's a presence on that. What you have done is that you have taken occupation. You have actually taken occupation. And any land that is occupied is very difficult for that piece of property to experience encroachment in any way. So occupy it by, there are so many things. You can use it as a car park, you can use it as a lot. Look at 12 things. Think. No, most of the time people will still come back to me. A lot of people have watched that video. It's just think. Those 12 things are just template and example. Just think. Think of the things you can do in that location. It can, no matter how bad it is, you can do agriculture. In fact, and let me share a quick experience with you. Somebody said he has about 3 plots of land, fenced round, but he said the land is not good enough for him to do agriculture. I said, it's a lie. I said, okay, no problem. If it's not good enough, buy sack. Buy what? Sack. Get soil from where it is good enough. That the new way people are planting yam is now that they plant it inside sack. And he did that. And he did that. And that was about 3 or 4 months. I think it was in April or so. I think it should be, yes, it should be in April. And the thing is already coming up. So by November, December, you will start harvesting yam. So all this, just think and do your research, because you must be making something from that place. You can be rearing animal on it after securing it. That's the reason why all these Fulanis are just roaming about. You can liaise with some of them too. If you understand their language, liaise with some of them. Occupy this place for me. And they'll be the one giving you information at every point in time of what is happening within that area. And you will not regret it. You will never regret doing that. Okay, so on the last note, what are you going to do? And this is very, very important. In fact, this is the whole essence of land banking. But I realize, especially in this part of the world, people are always emotionally attached to properties. And please don't be emotionally attached to any properties. So what do you do next? Cash out and repeat. Somebody say after me, cash out and repeat. That's number 5. See, when you see it as investment, I mean, I've said it in several of my videos that real estate is an investment, and see it as an investment. So you don't just be emotional attached to it. For instance, now probably you bought a plot of land at 50,000 naira, and let's say you bought 10 acres, that's about 60 plots. And you already know that within that area, maybe in the course of 3 years, 4 years, land is already selling for 500,000. And there's a place further down the line or the same road that's still selling for 50,000 naira, but yours is selling for 500,000 naira. The smart thing to do, don't need to sell everything. Why not just sell maybe an acre or 2, right? An acre or 2. You can either use it to fence the current land that you have, maybe if you have not done fencing, or transfer the money, or do both. Transfer the money to go and buy another location. So what you are invariably doing is this. You are expanding your possibility with land banking. Smart. That's the reason why you see some of the wealthy, they have land and land and land and land and land and land, because they understand that land by far is one of the resources on earth that we don't have the technology to manufacture more, and we needed more. I mean, as I'm doing this video now, the current population of Nigeria is over 220 million people, human beings. And do you know the funniest thing is this? 67%, about 70% of that population has less than 25. That is something else. So these people need accommodation. These people need a whole lot of stuff. So the land they will use to build their houses and the houses of their children is what you are doing land banking on now. So it's a long-term game. I hope this has helped you. In case you have any question, you want me to help you out in some area, but you want to even get started, you don't know how to really go about it. Chat me up, send me a DM. If you have my number here in any of my community, send me a DM and we can get talking. I can show you the way. I've gone the way, I can show you the way. So thank you very much. My name still remains Okpe Oluwa Oni. Don't forget to like, follow us, share. We drop video on a regular basis and it will help you a great deal. Thank you very much. Bye for now.